Hello there, vinyl community, and hello there, Robert Z and May K. I think it's most of all you, May, because you're the one who asks the questions. This is a response to your 4 questions that you had. I hope to see you making videos one day. It will be very interesting. But it was a very interesting questions, and I've been waiting for all 4 questions to get out before I do any response. The weather in Sundsvall right now has been sunny today, but it has been coming rain in the middle of the day, and it's been very windy and not that summer heat that we want, especially now when midsummer is upon us. So hopefully it will be better in the end of the month, because then my vacation starts. Well, on to your questions, May. 4 questions. What musical inspiration did I have for picking my instrument? And it's easy to answer that question. I don't play any instrument. I hardly know how to play on my lip. Blah, blah, blah. I tried when I was a kid to play piano and keyboard, but it failed. I went to a couple of lessons, and then I knew how to do the scale, and I picked up a piano sonata by Franz Schubert immediately and thought that now I'm ready for it. I think that describes the most of how well I became on piano. So I gave that up. So I don't play any instrument, and when I started to take the few lessons I got, my inspiration wasn't any artist. It was my friend Otto, who is a genius on piano. 3 early albums, and that was also pretty easy. I think everyone by now has seen my first album that I bought with Paul Hardcastle, his self-titled debut. Then I started to think, what was the second album that I actually bought? And it was a cassette, actually, that I bought in the winter of 1987, right after I've been hearing this band on the loudspeakers over some sports activities that we were having at the school. This cassette, don't be frightened that you see any kind of stickers of Black Pete and Mickey Mouse. I was 11 years old when I bought this album. This is, I think, the Dutch Bad Boys Blue, and their album Hot Girls Bad Boys, containing their major hit You're a Woman. This is if you really like into danceable 80s tunes, European style, this is definitely a highly recommended album, because it's really well produced, really well made, awesome album actually. I haven't really thought until recently that I would buy it actually on vinyl. At the moment right now my economy is like that my first priority is to buy records that I actually don't have, and those that I actually do have, it comes in second place. But this is an album that actually is a little special to me, so I will buy it on vinyl one day. Number 3 is an artist that I like very much. I also bought in late 1987, maybe early 88. German singer Sandra, a gorgeous woman, with her collection 10-on-1 The Singles. I bought this one after seeing the video and discovering her hit single Everlasting Love and her song Innocent Love. I discovered that this is actually really good, and she is a gorgeous woman. So I ran down to the record store that we had back in the 80s, and bought this album and was really happy about having her best songs on the vinyl. Those were the three of my three earliest full-length albums that I bought. Obscure rock. That one was very hard actually, because I don't listen to rock all that much. I'm a soul, synthesizer, jazz, 80s, Eurodance guy, and obscure rock is not my thing actually. I think, but to show something, I picked out a Swedish band that I like very much that might be called obscure rock. They were popular in the 90s. They were fronted by Swedish media personalities Henrik Schyffert and Kia Bergsoro. I'm talking about Whale, who have some, I call it some rock mixed with trip hop and experimental stuff. It's really something special. This is the album We Care that contains their hit single, and here is a really strange title: Hobo Humping Slowbo Babe. Still to this date I have to read it to remember what the title is like, because it's really strange. Really interesting album. Also this, their second album, All Disco Dance Must End in Broken Bones. I think this one is even better. Little more danceable, but a little softer, but still really interesting. Great guitars, and I'm not a huge fan of Henrik Schyffert and Kia Bergsoro, but I think that Whale is by far the best thing they ever did, actually. Even though Henrik Schyffert had been having a long career, both as stand-up comedian and comedian on television, I think this is the best thing he has done, actually. Then it was question number 4. Top 5 of artists that I think is overrated. I haven't been doing any ranking of them, but I have 5 artists that I think is overrated. I have a lot of artists that I think are overrated. Honorable mentions outside this top 5: Lady Gaga, Pink, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Kelly Osbourne, any more, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Green Day. The list goes on and on. But I have I'm sorry now if these artists are artists that several of you guys like. The taste is so divided, but these are artists that I have a very hard time listening to. Metallica, I mentioned that before, that I have a very hard time listening to. James Hetfield's voice, I think, is horrible. And their depressive rock music is, I have a hard time listening to it. Swedish singer Håkan Hellström, maybe new to some of you guys. He is a guy that everyone in the media loves. He's so pushed high by the Swedish media that I don't understand why, because he has a horrible voice. It sounds totally... He sings like this, in my opinion. So I don't understand how he gotten this reputation and how he has gotten this career that he has gotten, but he's popular for some reason. 3, AC/DC, also much because of the voice. I can't stand this crow that is sounding through the microphone. The singer, I can't stand him actually. And this kind of bar rock that everyone's supposed to sing in choir on every time they hear TNT and so on. I have a hard time listening to it. 4, Nirvana. Also a band that I never understood the greatness with, especially because of their depressive rock that and Kurt Cobain, that's in each and every song sounded like he was falling asleep in front of the microphone. I really have a hard time listening to Nirvana. And number 5, I also mentioned it before, Creedence Clearwater Revival. To me, that is boring. The real description of boring music is, in my opinion, Cream's Clearwater Revival. These are the 5 most overrated artists that I know. And then you want to know the 5 most underrated artists that we know. And that one was hard because there are so many. I can almost do an entire video where I'm showing the most underrated artists that I know. Maybe I will one day, I don't know, if they're any interest. But I have picked out now 5 artists or bands from the 80s that I think is totally underrated, that is worth to play a lot more in media, to have a better reputation that they have actually, to be seen more, be more forgotten today in the modern era. First of all, Berlin. They're far more than just Take My Breath Away. Before that song, they were a really, really good American synth pop band. I know there weren't all too many synth pop bands from the USA, but they were really, really good. This is the album Love Life from 1984, consisting of a great song called Dancing in Berlin. So Berlin is definitely totally stuck in the one and only hit. I don't deny that this song, Take My Breath Away, is a good song. It's a really, really classic. But they're far more than that. And this album is really, really a great synth pop song from the mid-80s. Synth pop album from the mid-80s. Second one is a band that I started listening to when they almost immediately that it became popular. I'm showing this album also multiple times, so I'm not going to show them so long. Go West, British pop group that was won the Grammy for Best New Band back in 1986, I think. The British Grammy Awards from 1986. This is the marvelous self-titled debut. But that's not all we have. We have their follow-up, Dancing on the Couch. Also a great album, not in the same caliber as the debut, but that was not to expect. Also a mixed album, Bangs and Crashes, over the first album. Great double album. We have a modern album, more modern album I should say, from 1992, Indian Summer. Also have a greatest hits, Aces and Kings. I like Go West very, very much. Unfortunately, it's a band that's been totally forgotten today and has been labeled as boring. But I always been a huge fan of Peter Cox and Richard Drumming. Number 3, also a band that I like very, very much that is hardly played today. Talking about Living in a Box with Richard Derbyshire, a singer that I think is so underrated. He's a really, really great singer. They're famous for the song that is called as themselves, Living in a Box, by Living in a Box. This is their first album, the self-titled debut. Really, really great pop music with some soul in the edges. This one is my absolute favorite. This is the second album that I also, from the moment, only have on cassette that I hope to buy on vinyl soon. Gate Crashing from 1989. This is a highly recommended album. This is really, really great danceable pop music with very much soul in the edges, and you might think when you look at their videos that it's just a novelty band, because they're really taking the artist's career easy, but the music is very serious and very, very, very great pop music. Highly recommended. But totally forgotten. Also a band that at least here in Sweden are very much forgotten is this band, Talk Talk. There are a lot of people today, a lot of kids today who think that It's My Life is a song by No Doubt. It's a great version, but still The original is far better. British band Talk Talk. This is The Color of Spring. We have the very best of Talk Talk, Natural History. Classic, It's My Life. Party's Over, they debut. This is a really great new wave synth band that many British artists today admits that they've been influenced by, but at least in Sweden, they're sadly forgotten. Sadly forgotten. And finally, a band that also in Sweden are very forgotten. I still remember back in the 90s when I was listening to a summer chart called Sommartoppen, and the announcer then, Pontus Enhörning, played what was on that chart 5 years earlier, and then he played Electric Blue by Icehouse, and he asked the entire audience, anyone who remembers this song gets a hat. It made fun of the fact that this band was totally unknown. And I thought to myself, if I was in that crowd, I would say that, can I get a t-shirt if I say that I have their entire album collection? Man of Colors. Shout out to Goofy Ranking for a really great video where he showed a really great vinyl version of this album. Icehouse, Primitive Man. Icehouse, Measure for Measure. Icehouse, Sidewalk. Icehouse, an EP called Fresco. And we're having their self-titled debut. And also somewhere here I have a CD with the greatest hits also. So, May K, I hope that you are satisfied with my answer to your questions and that you will get a whole lot more questions and you will find interest in the videos here at the Vinyl Community. I will be back pretty soon. I think I will do a response to Trish Mullins, who wanted us to show some 70s. So I think I will do a response to that also. So until then, I hope that you, May, and everybody else have a really nice weekend. And all of you who celebrates that, I wish you a very nice midsummer. And see ya.